Well, here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all over the world. Dobson777a here. It's Saturday again. Can you believe it's 9 o'clock? My phone's going crazy over here. I don't know what the deal is. So, anyways, what do you think? I didn't get a chance to do a video today. I usually try to fit one in on Saturday. We'll see if I can get one done tomorrow. I should have time in the morning. Hey, David Lee. I notice I got bills stacked up here. I got to sit down and do bills tomorrow. Yes, David Lee, you are the number one. People are slowly showing up on here. I gave a half-hour heads up. I don't know if you guys ever see the community tab. I usually try to put something out there in advance to let you know, if we're doing a show or not. So I did that early enough. I gave you a half-hour notice. I'm wearing one of my exercise shirts. These things, I tell you, they're really nice. I don't know if you guys have ever bought these things, but they, for whatever reason, they breathe really nice. So like when you're doing the treadmill and all that kind of stuff, it seems like my regular t-shirts, they just turn into a total sopping wet mess. These don't seem to do that. Patriot Man, Aftermat, Aramet, and David Lee. Oh, man. Yeah, this is, that's true. I've seen some of those. It was, when I used to play tennis, we had these tennis suits like that. They had the pants, long pants and everything. Right now I've got just shorts, but I realize the temperature is already changing here and I probably need to go pick up some long pants before the prices jump up. So I need to do that because the gyms will get kind of cold. But I'm getting skinny and now I'm toning up. All right, so I got to tell you, my arm finally healed up by Friday. I actually was able to go back to weights again. And I told my trainer, I said, we're going to take it slow. I'm not going to do twice what you said. I'm going to start with the thing and we're going to work our way up because, man, that just destroyed me. So I've actually upped my cardio now. I think I did, I'm going to say over an hour and a half of cardio. And then we did weights for probably half an hour. And then I did some stretching and core where we, sit-ups and stuff like that. So I'm trying to do, every part of my body. Oh, hardtack's pretty cool. That'd be a good video. Yeah, I'm at like 195. I need to go down at least 10 to 15 more pounds, but I'm trying to, when you've done something like this where you've come down like this, and then I kind of went like this, just going down a little bit. Now I'm trying to flatten off and just hold for a period of time, and then I must go down to my last little bit. So it's just one of the, I'm trying to get to, of course, now that I'm exercising, muscle weighs heavier than fat. So I may end up gaining a little weight. So we'll look at it and see. Yeah, it's been, it's kind of funny when you're retired, you can focus on stuff. And so I decided for 90 days, it's just, I decided I'm going to focus on this and see how far I can go. I want to try to transform my body. I don't mind being lean like this. This is actually pretty healthy already, but I actually want to increase my upper body strength. And then I'm going to take some defensive courses. I'm going to take some courses for like weapons, some more tactical type training, and then I want to do some defensive training. So I've got that on the list for see how far I can get this year, but that's going on. in parallel with all my other stuff that's happening. Yeah, you know, I need to bring that up on the video tomorrow if I can, because that was kind of cool that they had those. He sent me this link for a auction site, and they had 5 Platinum Eagles, and I forget what the starting point on that was. Pretty low, and you know, Platinum Eagles are like 1,200 an ounce or something right now. It's what they're selling for, and I think the whole lot of 5, which again, I didn't look very closely what the condition or anything else was. I mean, it was a very low starting bid that they had on that. A lot of people may not know much about platinum, so that might be a good thing to get. I just don't have any cash laying around right now. Oh, 2 gold eagles, sweet. Oh, 30.45. That's a good price. Think about it. That should be over probably 6,000 for 5 of them. So yeah, hardtack and pemmican. I've looked at the recipes for those, but you actually, and I forget which one was which, but you have to use grass-fed beef because it's got to be a lower level fat. But apparently, you can really make something that stores a long time without refrigeration. Charles McClendon, Chung Choi. Well, Patriot Man, throw up there how much you want to sell your gold eagles for, what year and all that stuff, what condition. I don't know if you noticed, the metals are not dropping. They're settling in at a certain price, and that, you know, we had this thing where it came down and it's just tightening. Now it's like super tight, and that's exactly what's happened last time when it went pow. That's what's going to happen here. I just don't know when. I never can predict when, but it looks like we are about ready. We got that spring all the way tightened up, and it's going to break. And somebody was saying that they noticed that it was all of the, you know, GLD and SLV and probably GDX. Everything is kind of in the same range. So I should have turned on the fan. I'm hot. Oh, should I be doing this? Put my mask on like all these clowns are doing. I actually ventured out today. I normally don't go out to a lot of places on the weekend, but I went to the outlet mall. I got to tell you a little story about that. I forgot. That kind of turned interesting. I went to the outlet mall because I just wanted to kind of walk around, and I forgot, like on the weekend, it looked like it was Christmas time. All the parking lots were full. It was unbelievable how full that place was. I was walking around the outskirts of the shopping mall, just kind of looking at the different stores. I didn't go into any of them. And then all of a sudden I saw this young lady with an old woman, and I could tell something was wrong. So I went over there and I said, hey, you know, what's happening? She says she all of a sudden can't see, you know, she's stumbling. And I said, well, okay, let me. So I kind of grabbed the lady just so she wouldn't fall. And I said, can we just have you sit down? She didn't want to sit down. She says, I don't want to go to the hospital or anything. I go, well, now, wait a minute. Something is wrong here. Can we get you back over to the bench? And she said, yeah. And so we carefully brought her over there. And then all of a sudden she was starting to have serious breathing problems, all kinds of stuff. And it was a really young girl that was talking to her so sweetly. It was unbelievable how well she was communicating with this lady. And I was just trying to hold the lady's hand and trying to comfort her because she was like shaking and everything. I thought she was going to die in front of us. So I had one of the other bystanders call 911, and they got the ambulance there. And so we told what we had seen, and they were able to get her inside. And I don't know what happened after that, but she was pretty old, and it looked like she was going through something serious, like a stroke or something. But I went in and talked to the manager of the store. I said, you got to reward this young girl, because I've never seen anybody that good at that age. She was just so compassionate and just trying to be calming to her, and And I was just kind of supporting because she had full control of it. I was just so impressed. So I left my name and number for, management to, call me if they need some support for getting her an award. But I thought that was amazing. Yeah, I saw RBG passed away the other day. I sent it to several of my liberal friends. They really enjoyed that. They hadn't heard it yet, and hearing it from me really aggravated them. And I sent it to some of my conservative friends too. We'll see, man. I tell you, this has been kind of interesting. I like to tweak. I've known people for 35 years. We worked together, and they were liberals and we were conservative. I mean, I don't wear it on my sleeve like the way the liberals do, but it's like, we still have good fun. Yeah, no, this poor lady, I felt bad for her. And even when I was leaving, the ambulance was there. I was like, man, it kind of ruins your day because you think, she's probably a goner, the problem she's having. So anyways, that was kind of my good deed to try to help. I mean, I don't know what caused me to look over there because we weren't even walking in that area. And I just saw it looked like that young lady was stressed. So I was glad I was able to help because that allowed her to focus on the woman. Anyways, every once in a while, you got to keep your eyes open. There's stuff in front of you all the time that you can help. And I've always tried to be that way. What are you guys doing? I wouldn't be selling any of your coins yet. Don't be selling your coins. Keep them coins. More to come. In fact, maybe very shortly. So don't sell anything unless you're in dire straits. Figure out another way to gin up some money. Go mow some lawns or something. Oh, World of Tanks. Man, I used to play video games all the time, and I just got, of course, I'm in a different world now. Right now, I'm dating. That takes more time than I ever could have imagined. Seems like I'm getting into a better. I don't want to say class because I've enjoyed all the women that I've met, but it's like I'm breaking into a different age bracket now, which is better, I think, for me. All the women, my age look much older than me. So JT coin rings. Oh, look at him throwing $2 at me. What a deal. I didn't say that masks didn't work. I just think that there's only certain places you need to wear masks because the masks, like if I go to a barber shop where it's a nice confined space, there's only room for just a few people. I think it's appropriate to wear that. But if you are in like a massive Home Depot, it's a volume thing. It's really not an issue. There's so many things like and I heard the president talking about this the other day. It's like, okay, you've got the people at the restaurants. They're wearing a mask, and they'll actually kind of like itch their nose, with it, but they've touched the mask where there could be particles of, COVID on it, and then they go and hand a menu to you and everything. And so it's just one of those things that there's risk in everything you do. So try to just do common sense. I notice a lot of the stores where they've got mandatory masks are required, they're not enforcing it. I eat out all the time still. I just try to go on the off hours, even like to the gym. But one of the differences, I'm retired, right? So I notice if I go to the gym at 10 o'clock, it's only probably like 1% capacity. If I go at 2 o'clock, it's 1% capacity. So I've just been doing that because I have 2 or 3 hours, nobody's there. And there's trainers there. You get all the attention in the world. It's fantastic. So that's a big difference that you can have if you can adjust your schedule somehow to go in the off hours. And so I try to eat early at restaurants. Same thing. If they open at 4, I try to get there like 4 to 4:30, and then I'm out of there before the big rush comes. Same thing at lunch. Get in there at 11, right when they open, and get out of there before the big rush comes. Yeah, I got to get. I need a little bit of free time. Probably early this week, I'll get the video number 2 out. And I appreciate any comments that you guys have when you watch these things, because I'm trying to do something fairly comprehensive of what I've learned. And I'm still learning some things. I've actually watched, have you ever heard of some of these women that claim to be like your wing girl or something? I've been listening to some of their stuff about texting advice and stuff, and I'm learning some more things there. Yeah, MMX is breaking out. So look, I'm going to tell you right now, let me remind you, some of these were, let me think what we called it. I'm buying things that are on John's list that he's not investing in. So we're front running. That's the word I couldn't remember. And I believe that what's going to happen is these are really good companies. It's just he only invests in 10 gold companies. So if you pick on like a number 11, number 12, they're all ranked, everything else, and you don't put a lot in it, it's very possible these are going to move into his top 10, and it's going to be movement like what we're seeing right now that's going to catch his eye and say, okay, this thing up above is lagging, let's swap it out. And when that happens, you're going to see, we might even get a double before he even moves it in. Then you're going to get another double on top of that. That's my thought process on some of these. And there's another gold and silver investor thing on Stansberry that I pulled a few things out of there. It's been a while since I've read all those reports. There might be a few other things that we can pick off, but everything's going well. And I'm not going to muck with things when things are going well, okay? Because like I said, you can really screw things up. Remember, when the metals are going up, it's like the tide is coming in, right? And so when the tide comes in, everything goes up. So there's no need to get very creative. We've already got really good stuff. And so don't get carried away. Don't try to do day trading. That's not what this is about. I mean, what the heck? I think, since, what was it, August, when I set up my portfolio, holy mackerel, I think I'm up 60% right now. That's fantastic. And, that was after a big drop. So it's all recovered and come back up and up 60%. Well, KL, remember Kirkland Lake, they bought something that everybody thought was not a good match for their company, but Kirkland is actually going to surprise everyone. It just takes time. When you buy another company, you have to kind of go in with your management and kind of shake things out, figure out, who's good, who's bad. And then what's going to happen is over time, you'll see these numbers just be phenomenal. And then when you add on top that the metals are going up, it's going to be a steal is what it's going to look like. But it takes time for that discovery. Yeah, one of the things I haven't done, and you're bringing up a good thing, Avtomat, I'm going to have to go into that one report that I have, and I can go pull up the some of the news that's coming out and spend some time on that. But I kind of have migrated off on some of this dating to help you guys, because this is kind of hot on my mind, and I want to make sure I get this stuff in front of you, because I know some of you are in that same position. And this is something that, I kind of like writing these procedures, because who knows, in 5 years, I might be in the same boat again, have to start over again. I'm hoping that I'm going to choose well, but you never know, right? So by documenting this, I'll just go back and say, okay, let me watch my videos. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. And then it's something that could be very helpful even for me down the road. You never know. Whew, I'm hot. I ate a big old ribeye today. God dang, every once in a while, I just got to have a steak. I haven't had a steak in a long time. And it was Longhorn. And they have this, what is it called? The Outlaw or something. But I mean, it's a steak like that big. And I only ate about half of it, but man, when you get a nice cut like that, it's like it really stokes the coals in your body. So I'm feeling like overheated. No, I don't use Rick Rule because I've already got the top stock analyst there is for mining stocks, and that's what I'm using. So off the top of my head, I don't know Wallbridge Mining or Karora Resources. You'd have to look to see what their cap is. That sounds like it's a micro cap or something. Okay, you got to remember that miners are leveraged to the precious metals. So if we are going to have a repeat from 1970 to 1980, it was, off the top of my head, I just did this the other day, let's say 16 to 18 times increase in the physical metals. The miners, depending on which ones you have, if it's like the large miners, it's about a 4 times increase. So if you have gold gone up, you know, let's just make it 20 times to make it easy math, because I can't do this late at night the other ones. So let's say gold goes up 20 times. GDX will go up 80 times. Now, if you have a junior miner, that'll go up 120 times. And then if you have like a micro miner, it would probably be like 8 times, so 160 times. So that gives you the rough idea. So, but you're not going to put an even amount in each one of those because we're doing the pyramid. So that's why I came up with maybe 6 times. So that's how that works. Most people just don't understand that gold could go up 20 times in 10 years. So when that happens, the miners are going to explode. So hopefully you understand that. Occasionally I put in at the top of the description, in fact, I'll try to remember to do that, and I describe about the miners, how that works, because I've done the math before. I've looked at it, even in like 2012 and 2016, I've looked at what the leverage is. Now, realistically, keep in mind that this is the same problem. As this thing goes up, it's going to start coming back down. And so theoretically, that's what you could get, but you may not be able to get that full amount, but that's theoretically what you can do. Edgewater Heating is in the house. You're 22 minutes late, buddy. That's okay. Yeah, no, a lot of people don't understand the miners. No, I didn't say I didn't like the small cap mining stocks. What I said was I balance my portfolio based on the volatility. So when you look at a pyramid like this, I put the lower volatility, but it's still a high return. I fill that area up first, and then you move up. And so the juniors are going to be in this. So you use a little less of that. And by the time you get to the top, those are the micros. You use just a little bit. It's almost like the spicy mustard you put on the top. You don't need a lot of it, but it's up to you how what your risk tolerance is. I'm kind of one where because of my approach, my portfolio doesn't get smacked as hard, and that makes me sleep better at night. And it still gives me, the kind of return that I'm looking for. I've just learned if you do like a balanced approach, you actually make it out better. All right, so I got to go in here because there's a whole bunch of people showed up here. We got Renee, I don't know if it's Michelle, Adrian D, Timmy Chonga, Rob B. I think I caught everybody up now. Yeah, no, remember, I'm going to tell you right now, that ETF miner portfolio that I put together, it's unbelievable how well that's performing. That has done, equally well as the improved portfolio. And it's just because, again, I'm using a balanced approach. And I talked about that in a video the other day. So I keep trying to show you, because if you had just loaded up on SIL-J, you'd be crying compared to the performance of everything else. Now, that could change in a couple of years. It may get going, but the approach I showed has given you a very good performance, because it just is working very well. Yeah, that ELYGF, I think I'm up 100% on that, and that was just throwing in. I like that. I like that fund. A lot of these micro royalty companies have done very well. Thank you for sending positive thoughts from Canada. Oh, the aliens brought RBG back. That's interesting. I mean, she's apparently been reanimated multiple times. Yeah, I love shopping during the day when everybody else is working. I never understood why older folks would be there in the store when everybody's coming home from work and everything. It's like, what are you doing? The one thing that I keep forgetting to do is get my senior citizen discount. I don't know what age you got to get at most of these places, but I'm 60 years old. I should be getting a discount at most places, so I need to ask. Every once in a while, they'll give it to me, and I go, "What's this for?" It's like it was supposed to be. Oh, I gave you your discount. Oh, okay, I didn't even know I got one here. Yeah, people. Well, everybody kept thinking that silver was going to jump, but from March to April, you got to be careful where you're measuring. Was it from the March low to the high? That doesn't really count. You need to count from where it before it dropped. But in the meantime, silver, everybody they always look at, again, I don't look at days, weeks, months. If you look at the trend, gold is surpassed all-time highs. Silver is not even close to an all-time high yet. And silver always seems to have trouble when it hits $50, it collapses. So for these people to say, oh, it's going to be different this time, you never know that. So somebody called me. I'm glad you brought up about the income tax cut. There was something else that happened. If you have like a 401k or an IRA, apparently you can pull out $100. I'm sorry, you can pull out 100K with some kind of reduced tax on that. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, but I need to do some research and do a video on that. But somebody called me and said, hey, would that be a good idea? And I would say yes, especially if you're going to go buy some physicals. Go ahead and take advantage of the, you're not necessarily pulling it out to go buy a boat or something, but if you go buy a tangible asset, I think that's a good idea at this time. Get it off the books. Yeah, maybe it's no penalty only. I can't remember what all the thing was. I need to look it up. I forgot about that. Somebody called me probably a week ago and I didn't write it down. Let me write it down. I haven't spent much time at my computer lately. So Adrian, the only thing is you got to remember the value or the cost of the stock is meaningless because they can do reverse splits. They can do all kinds of things to make that value of that stock anything they want. So that has nothing to do with intrinsic value of a stock. You need to look at the past history and figure out how it got to that price. Because I've seen many times when stocks get too high, they do this splits and stuff, and it brings it down. But then they can also go the other way to make the stock go up to make it look more attractive. Otherwise, they actually fall off the what do they call it? You'll fall off like the NASDAQ or something else if your stock gets too low. All right, we have now gone 30 minutes, folks. Yeah, I'm thinking if you're going to pull 100K out, there is another thing you can do. I need to call my CPA to see if this is sound advice, but there used to be a thing where you could income average. So let's say you did pull 100K out, and so this year maybe your salary is more than doubled. You can decide to income average over 5 years, which will smooth that out. So you don't get this huge tax. You can actually spread it over 5 years. So that's something to think about. Oh, you have to show you had a hit on the COVID. Okay. All right. Well, if there's someone that look at Eminem's write-up, he's talking about that there are some stipulations, and I could say, hey, some of my tenants didn't pay rent and I got in trouble, but they'd say, well, why'd you pull 100K out? There wasn't that much. Yeah, I was a multidisciplined engineer, but because of being an engineer, it forced you to understand the underlying stuff of what's really happening. Eric Sprott, I've watched some of his videos, but to tell you the truth, I have not been consuming anything because everything's playing out exactly what I said it was going to be a year ago. And so there's really occasionally when things kind of slack back, I come in to try to calm everybody down. It's okay. It's okay. We're coming back. Don't worry. But we are going to, we're on track. I have to go look at, since this thing started in 2018, what gold is up now, but it's over 60%, I think. That's just phenomenal. You just think about the most calmest metal in the world, and it's up 60% in that amount of time. Yeah, I know this. I keep hearing rumors that we're no longer going to pay income tax, but they're going to have to completely redo our whole tax system if that's going to happen. So I don't know. Yeah, into 2018, I got back in when I showed that chart of how the S&P 500 broke down. I said, this is the time. I still had a position from like 2016 and stuff, but I loaded up in 2018. Yeah, I think we're still going to be a United States. I've seen some charts where they're going to break it into 3 sections or something. I don't know if that's what they're going to do or not. There's a lot of crap on the internet that's not real. Yeah, don't wait to think that you're going to be able to time this. Don't wait to think you're going to be able to time this. It never works that way. Whenever you look at these charts when things really take off and everybody panics, it is parabolic land and it's too late because we don't know how high it's going to go and it can just crash down too quick. So you'd rather be early than a day late. Potash. I do not believe we're going to have a dollar crash. I'd like to define what dollar crash means to him, but usually the reserve currency doesn't get that bad. But all of the, let's say, emerging markets, they're the ones that are going to get destroyed. Because I've heard it described, and I couldn't tell you who said this, but I thought it was a good description. When the body dies, it dies from the extremities in. The body kind of protects the core as long as it can. And so think of the reserve currency as the core. So you're going to see all these other countries like Europe and I was thinking, we already see evidence like Venezuela and other countries that have already succumbed to this. It's just going to get worse and worse. So. Yeah, don't ever put all your eggs in one basket. Just don't, folks. Spread it around. like I said, I've shown you mathematically why it works because I've back tested this thing for years and years and years, and it just gives you. So, for instance, I've shown these charts, right, where things kind of look like this. It's like a cycle because the boom and bust and everything. My design of the portfolios does this. It just runs right up. Now, I mean, it's going to have some squiggles, but it's a lower volatility, and you don't see these wild swings. You're just riding it right up the middle. That's the way you want to play the game. And I've learned years ago how to design the portfolios to do that. And I've done that for everything. I figured it out for everything. You usually mix it up, based on your age, stocks, bonds, cash. And then if you add precious metals into it, it really makes a huge difference. I would love it if, and everybody thinks I trash silver, but I'm just going to tell you, you've had two major peaks of silver, and both times they stopped around $50. For people to think that it's going to be 700 this time, who knows? I'm not going to say it's not, but it seems unlikely. Might get to 100 or something, but we'll see. Well, when I look at the dollars, this is what you're missing. And I did a video on this a long time ago. Go look at your dollar bills. There's no silver marking on there. They're only gold marking. They added this gold marking like 10 years ago, and they've been slowly, as they redesign these bills, they actually have gold coloration on each one of the bills. There's not one of them that has silver. So if we were going to actually do some kind of silver backing, wouldn't you think they would have used some kind of silver coloration? I think they've been foreshadowing something's coming for a long time. Do you ever provide the percentage allocation of your investments over your stock picks? Well, I did a video the other day that talked about the ETF miners portfolio. And it was like GDX was like 48%, and then GDXJ was like 28, and then you had GOEX was 12, and then it went down whatever SIL and SILJ. But I did a video that talked about that. And so far, amazingly, 5 ETFs are performing as well within a few percentage points as everything else. That's as simple as it gets. And I'm showing you, how stable that's been. So you need to go look at that. It's easy for you to derive. Just look at the starting point, because I started with like $30,000. You can go determine that. But I just did a video recently talking about that. So it's already done for you if you watch the beginning. And I did it right at the beginning of the video too. And it's hard to say. Hard to say whether we're going to have another pullback. I don't think any of these guys, a lot of these guys, I hate to tell it, but they're trying to drive, viewers, putting out bizarre predictions. And I'm going to tell you right now, nobody knows what's happening. And I told you, except for the person behind the curtain. You can't look at charts and tell what's going to happen. All I can do is tell you what it's doing based on the charts, but I can't predict the future. Just like we've seen, I haven't done it in a week now, how we're actually above the line for gold. And so we're on another trend right now. But don't let you, there's none of these guys have any clue what the Fed and everybody else is doing. They have no clue as to, how they're controlling the money and everything else. So you can't determine what gold and silver is going to do, because we don't know what the guys behind the curtain are doing. Yeah, no, I understand they're printing endless monopoly money. And so that's the only thing that I'm telling you is that that's kind of what happened when we got off the international gold standard. So there were several videos recently that says this is just the beginning of the printing. So it's going to go really fast. But to say that silver is going to, surpass gold is really hard to understand. We probably should be looking at the gold platinum ratio. All right, so Henry, what I did was, remember, I'm growing a ton of food here, and I went on basically a vegetable fast. And I mean, I took everything from my garden and I just ate mainly vegetables. In fact, I was losing too much weight that I actually had to add in cheese and eggs because it was like, I mean, I bet you I could have lost 2 pounds a day average. And I did that for like the first week and realized that's too much. So I slowed it down to 1 pound a day and did that for 30 days. And then the next month, I decided to try to do a half a pound a day. And so I did that. And so now what I'm trying to do is very slowly lose the last, say 10 or 15 pounds. But at the same time, I've changed something to where now, I'm exercising, which you're kind of in this balancing act, from what I understand, think about muscle weighs heavier than fat. So if I'm replacing some fat with muscle, I'm potentially going to gain weight. And I've had to change my diet again because I was on a low carb, basically almost a vegetarian type diet, no potatoes, stuff like that. And actually no protein, very low amount of protein. So now I've had to jump up my protein with like lean meats and stuff. And because when you're building muscle, you're kind of destroying muscle and you have to have protein to kind of build it back together. So I'm, like I said, you're going to see something totally different if I'm successful, if I don't hurt myself in some way, but we're not doing anything that should happen like that again. So anyways, I eat chicken, I eat rabbit. I ate half a big old steak today, but I ate, instead of a potato, which I love, loaded potato, I ended up eating broccoli. So in fact, what I try to do now is I eat 75% vegetables and 25% protein. And I eat a lot of fruit. So I always am getting like cantaloupes and watermelons and peaches and grapes and blueberries, and I'm eating all that. That's my snack instead of, eating a bag of chips or something. Yeah, I'm probably not drinking near as much water. In fact, my exercise the other day where I was gone for 3 hours, that was a mistake. I need to bring out, I can't eat bread either because of the gluten. So I have gluten-free bread, but I really haven't touched that in 3 months. I'm going to bring a water bottle with me to exercise next time because, especially when you're doing the cardio, you sweat a lot, especially I'm on an incline and I'm trying to keep the heart rate like around 120, 130. So that's a good workout. And I did that for like an hour and a half. I kind of bookended. I did at the beginning and I did at the end. I do the beginning to warm you up. And so then you're less likely to get injured. Yeah, any carbs, you need to set that stuff aside. If you're doing like marathons and stuff, that's a different story, but I'm not doing anything like that. I'll probably need to do another whole video what I learned on this. I actually need to sit down and do some research, but these trainers, they kind of know. And so I tell them the problems I'm having. They're like, what? You didn't eat any protein? I said, well, I started something new. You should have told me. I don't know anything. I just assumed I could get away with it. But, that's the way it goes. She didn't realize I was on such a restrictive diet. You're going to think this is weird, but the celery, how there's leaves on the celery that are super bitter. I love the celery leaves. I don't know why. I always have since I was a little kid. So whenever we were making a salad and cutting up celery or something, man, I'd grab those leaves because they just throw them away. I loved the leaves. I don't know why. It's just so good to me. I don't know why the bitter, maybe there's something in there that I'm lacking. I need to go get some celery because I just made myself hungry thinking about that. So when I was working, when I first cut out breakfast, I used to cut up a bunch of celery and put it in a Ziploc and bring it to work with me. And that was my snack to get me through till lunch. Yeah, there is no coming back from, what happened this year. That was a deal killer forever. You should probably never say never, but it's like, man, I'm telling you what, talk about a heartbreak. Not going to happen. Not happening. No, the reloading is going to be a wintertime type thing. And I'm getting into some real sweethearts now too. It's kind of the thing that I've been lacking. So this is going to be. I'm hoping that some of these women that are just very, I don't know how you say it. They know how to treat guys, and so I'm going to try to nurture that. And I think my whole goal now for the rest of my life is to be happy. There's a period of time you go through, and I would say it's probably your 50s to 60s when you just have a lot of aunts and uncles dying, and you have your parents going through troubles, and it causes a lot of stress on the marriage and everything. And so I think, I've kind of got all that stuff behind me. I mean, there's still problems. You could lose a kid, you could lose a grandkid, but I mean, most of it's the older folks that you have to live through. And friends. I've lost a lot of friends. So this is the time where I just want to focus on having more fun. So a lot of things that I've been preparing for, I'm kind of setting that on the side now. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna go traveling. We're going to, go to theaters, go do all kinds of stuff, and just enjoy. So there's a lesson there for everybody. Make sure you have your balance. I'm probably going to be overbalanced on the fun side, but I'm probably going to go back and get some lessons for golf. I haven't played in a long time. I used to play golf all the time, but I decided since I haven't played in a while, I'm going to go get some lessons. Same thing with tennis. I'm trying to get some of these ladies involved in activities where we're just not sitting watching a movie or something. And quite a few of them are, people that are gym rats and they're willing to go try some things. So I think that'll be fun. So yeah. All right, Noah. As long as your mom is like 25, I'm all for it. Let's go. I'm just kidding. I'm trying to get the 45 to 55 sweet spot here. Send her have her send me an email and I'll talk to her. I don't know if I talked about this in the video. Let me explain something to you, because this whole thing about every one of the applications are set up where you kind of like swipe left or you swipe right, depending on it. And it's always just on looks first, because some of these you can't even click on it to see, the profile. And so it's like a horrible way to do it, because we shouldn't be, judging a book by its cover. So, and then you have these other search preferences for like age and everything else. And so when you first start out, if you're trying to do what I call the Christian way, I've kind of opened up these search criteria like this way. I don't have it super restricted because I'm trying to not make it, necessarily exactly who I want. I want to make sure that God has, its say in here. So I'm trying to say that be careful, because especially, and I know there's some women on here, but the good lookers are not necessarily best wives, right? I'm not going to say there's exceptions to everything, but you're going to have to go through a ton of them to find somebody who's worth it, versus maybe having that thing opened up a little bit. Oh man, Charles, I would love to get with somebody that knows what they're doing, because I'm a calm, cool, collected guy. I used to play with like a church league, and it was amazing. Some of these guys, how they'd be throwing their clubs in the lake and stuff. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? But I'm going to we're kind of coming into the season where we're not going to have much more time for golfing, but I can still go to the driving range and get some lessons and stuff. So by the time spring comes around, I might be ready. Yeah, Puerto Rico is, isn't that Peter Schiff where he's over there? Puerto Rico's actually really beautiful, and it seems like they've kind of got everything built back up again. But man, you're in Hurricane Central right over there, so I don't know if I'd retire there unless I had a quick escape. You know, some guy, some pilot say, "Hey, I'm ready to go. Let's go." Vietnam's a good place. What else? Uh, Certain areas of Philippines, I understand, are good places. Really low costs. I've heard like maybe Ecuador, I think, where there's a lot of expats down there. There's actually some books and stuff that can point you. You know, I mean, medical, everything's all covered down there. Fantastic. I did see that Crazy Hot Matrix before. Yes, that's true. That would actually, I should incorporate that into one of my videos because it is a fact, absolutely a fact. I kind of went through that recently, so that's what I'm saying. Some of the beauty queens, you know, they think that they're just supposed to be taken care of. You see it. I've talked to some people on there. So you're just going to take care of me? I said, what does that mean? You're going to take care of you? I mean, we have stuff to do. Each one of us are going to be doing things. It's kind of weird. I don't know, the daddies, girls, or whatever, they've never had to lift a finger to do anything. So you don't want that, folks. Don't do it unless you can pay to have somebody else to do everything else. Yeah, I'm not leaving the country. I'm just going to find what I got here. I definitely am going to have another video because some interesting things are happening again, things I'm learning about. It's taken me a while to get into another nationality. And so this other nationality is, I've heard really good things, and you're probably going to be shocked, you know, if it works out the way I think it is. But we're going to, it's going to be really interesting. So those are, you ever heard of, like in baseball, you know, you have the people over on the bench, you know, and they move out to the, what do they call that little circle, you know, where they kind of warm up and everything. And then they actually have the people coming in bat. So I've actually got, I've got some of this next group that are moving up to bat now on deck. There you go. Thank you. So I've got a couple on deck, and I've got one that's coming up on bat tomorrow. And I have a really sweet Georgia peach that I'm seeing tomorrow too. So it's going to be interesting. Yeah, no, that was one of the high maintenance ones. Yeah, fruit is carbs, but it's complex carbs. So be careful. There's a difference versus, you know, starches. So if you go into like potatoes and rice, those are a different type. Complex carbs are much better for you. Yeah, I don't really want to talk about the past relationships. I'm going to try to explain generally how things are working, but anyways, it's there's a lot of different reasons why things, I get thrown away all the time. I got thrown away today for this woman, but it was actually going to be a mutual decision anyways. But like I said, I got a wide net. So we, you know, it sounds good on the phone. It sounds good texting. And then when you go out on the date, it's like, nah, it's not there. And they can tell probably the way I'm reacting too, but it's, this one was like another psychiatrist type thing. And those are dangerous because they say they're not going to analyze you, but they'll say, well, you know, I probably wouldn't have said it the way you just said it. That's kind of like, you know, offensive. And I'm like, well, look, if I'm writing, I'm very precise in my language. When we're just talking, I'm kind of considering we're friends. But if you're going to take offense to every little thing, then there's things you've said that I've just kind of let it blow by me, but I don't know. It might have been more of a liberal type mindset, where they're just highly offended of things. And I don't know. I'm just a normal guy. I don't claim to be, PhD or anything else. So it's like, look, we're supposed to be, where's the grace? There's no grace in a lot of this stuff. So you have to kind of say good riddance, right? I want people that are tolerant. Patriot Man is bailing. Hey, man, we're at 55 minutes. You know that? We got less than 5 minutes left. Yeah, so this depression, I was just talking to someone today, one of the ladies, and I said, you don't understand what's coming. If you're struggling right now, it's going to get impossible. So you need to consider combining resources. In fact, you need to prepare that your kids are probably going to come home because it's already bad. It's going to get way worse. So that's one of the reasons why I have a massive house, because I have a feeling that we are going to have multiple generations together. It's going to be mandatory. People in the military are going to get riffed because there's not going to be money. They're going to be let loose on their contracts early. And this has happened previous times. Last time I talked about it, there was a guy that, got let out early in the 70s. So you think you're going to have a job forever. It doesn't necessarily work that way. These are going to be really tough times. We're just at the beginning of this. And, you think this year has been horrible. Think about it. This is going to get 10 times worse. So I will tell you, I found a woman from Ghana they are a very traditional culture. And she's actually Caucasian, but she was raised in that culture. And that's something that I'm evaluating right now. Very sweet woman. So anyways, like I said, cast a wide net, folks, because you might be surprised. I have been. Agreed, Pacha Papa. I don't know what that is. Pacha Papa. Susan Black is in the house. Hey, Susan, we're talking about women. I hope you're okay with that. I don't think I've said anything bad yet. All right, we got like 2.5 minutes left, folks. I will tell you, I loved being married. Some part of it was better than others, but overall, it was very good to be married. If you've never been married, if you do a good job choosing, I think you're going to be happy. It is a really good thing when we're both working together. So that's really the thing. There's a thing in the Bible where it talks about don't be unequally yoked, and it talks about like you'd have oxen side by side. If one was really strong and the other one was weak, they'd like turn in circles. So you want to make sure that your marriage is both of you are going the same direction and aren't fighting each other. So think about how you can try to choose wisely. If you choose unwisely, you will live in hell. So try to choose wisely, because it's like buying a house or buying a car. You want to make sure you've done all your research and done very well. This is a huge, and it could be very costly later in life too. So figure out how to do it right, and try to work problems real time. Don't let them fester. But at the same time, I will tell you, sometimes the dragon wins. It doesn't matter how well you do things, the dragon will win, and that's just part of it. Yeah, I feel really good. I'm still having sleep problems though. It doesn't matter if I'm exhausted. Like, the other day I did the gym And I think I did sleep 6 hours, but it's like, why am I not sleeping like 8 hours or 10 hours? You would think I'd be freaking exhausted, but it's like I'm not sleeping still. It's the funniest thing. Yeah, I tell you, I love my little stash down there because there's a lot of times I'm looking at the freezer. I'm like, crap, this is going to take hours to thaw out. I need to get something. I go, oh yeah, I got chili. I've got, chili con carne. Not what is that other thing called? Brunswick stew. I got all kinds of stews. It's like so much easier. Just go down there, grab it, throw it in the microwave, and I got a meal. It's wonderful. Yeah, having some parents living is tough. Living with you is tough. All right. Well, we are at 1 hour, folks. I like to try to keep it an hour. That was very good discussion. We only had 26 likes, and I think we've got 38 people. Can we hit some more likes real quick? Come on, get up there. Just gotta. Actually, the likes are down here. You got to click down here, bring it up because we're only 20. Oh, there's 28. Come on. Can we get 30? How about 30? 30 likes. 29. I'll turn it off at 30. Come on, one more. Don't be stingy. Okay, now we got it. Thank you. You guys did good. Oh, Essential Oil Stories showed up. Have you just been sitting in the background quiet? Thank you, Mr. Action. Oh, okay. Essential Oil. She's been listening. It's like the enemy got the woman in here listening. I expect she's come in and say, you can't say that. Our time says I got 8 new matches. Okay, that's interesting. All right, have a wonderful evening, folks, and I'll try to get a video out tomorrow, but if I don't get it out in the morning, it'll be late in the evening, or I'll do it first thing Monday morning after market opens up. All right, I hope everybody's treating you well. I hope you're doing well. Do the best you can. God bless.